modern city, takeaway riders are shuttling. Imagine that. No cell phone, no clock. It doesn't even have a refrigerator. But 2,000 years ago in Rome, an ordinary citizen can enjoy a convenient life. How did they do it? So this is the Cloud Kitchen cluster in Rome. Their algorithms are not code. It's about extreme urbanism and extreme population density. Look, our protagonist Marcus has placed an order. He didn't pick his phone, but a little boy playing outside the window. He whistled. Drop a few small coins. The little boy is like a rider receiving an order. Precisely run to the restaurant downstairs. In the city of Rome, their riders are the poor kids on the corner. In the city of Rome, how do you know the time without a mechanical clock? The horn and water shadow are push notifications that are synchronized throughout the process. Marcus doesn't need to look at his watch, because the afternoon horn sounded outside the window. Sound travels all over the city in the form of visible sound waves. Meanwhile, the sundial shadow on the square points to noon. Ancient Romans from the Greek world, especially around the 3rd century BC, introduced sundial technology. They are not only widely used, it has also been improved and popularized. Make it common public facilities and personal items of a Roman city and a public square. A sundial consists of a ghost needle and a ghost face. The ghost needle is a pole that stands on a flat surface. A ghost is a flat surface marked with scales. The way it works is that as the sun moves across the sky, the shadow of the ghost needle will fall on the ghost surface. As the position of the sun changes, the direction and length of the shadow will also change. By reading the scale pointed by the shadow, you can read the time at that time. In the city of Rome, there is no refrigerator. How is food stored? Watch the restaurant owner take the order. Remove food from a large clay pot. Huge clay pots buried deep underground. It's actually an underground food cellar in ancient Rome. It makes clever use of the principles of physics. Achieved low temperature preservation effect similar to modern refrigerators. Firstly, utilizing the thermal insulation properties of soil to isolate high temperatures from the outside world. In summer, the temperature on the ground can be as high as 30–40 degrees Celsius, but the downward transfer of heat is slow. Bury huge pots several meters underground. It can effectively isolate the effects of hot air on the ground. The second is to use constant ground temperature to provide a cold source. A certain depth underground, usually below 5–10 meters, the temperature of the soil will stabilize around the local average annual temperature, virtually unaffected by day, night, and seasonal changes. For Mediterranean climate regions like Rome, it's about 13–15 degrees centigrade. This temperature, although it doesn't freeze like modern refrigerators, but for ancient times without electricity, already a very ideal low-temperature environment. It's way below room temperature in summer. It can effectively slow down the chemical reaction of food spoilage and the growth rate of microorganisms. And then, utilizing the microporous structure and evaporation endothermic effect of ceramic pot, the clay itself has tiny pores. When storing food in cans, or when the wall of the ceramic pot itself contains a small amount of moisture, this moisture will slowly penetrate the surface of the pot. Evaporation process absorbs a lot of heat. It's a physical cooling effect. Just like when you sweat, you feel cool. This further reduces the temperature inside the tank, maybe a few degrees cooler than the surrounding ground temperature. Finally, the structural design enhances the effect. These storage facilities, usually with vaults and narrow passages, helps hot air rise and gather at the top. Heavier cold air sinks and stays at the bottom, which is the storage area. Some high-end storage cellars also, equipped with a water circulation system or ventilation shaft, by evaporation of water, or introduce cold air at night to assist in cooling. Although the ancient Romans did not have a modern theory of thermodynamics, they deeply understood the laws of nature. Through their exceptional observational skills and practical experience, they perfectly combined geography, materials, and physical principles to create this efficient, energy-saving, and reliable natural cold chain system. Look, the last mile relies on interpersonal networks. What about online payment? It relies on these clinking coins. The form of technology is changing, but the needs of humanity have never changed. The pursuit of convenience, efficiency, and instant satisfaction drives every era to create its own modern life. So, which way of life do you think we have today will still appear primitive and intelligent in 1,000 years? Tell me your whimsical ideas in the comments section.